win, so that's the good news. So, all right, let's move on over to the Big South scoreboard. So, couple interesting games here. Kennesaw State, they beat Reinhardt 35 to 25. It wasn't that close watching it. I don't know what Kennesaw State was doing, but it wasn't that close if you watched the game. I watched some of it. Up next, North Carolina A&T lost to Furman 29 to 18. Now I watched almost this entire game. A&T is good. I mean, they are still good. They're talented, but what tripped them up in this game was what Hamptonite and I said in the last podcast about what's going to keep them from winning the Big South: turnovers, penalties, special teams, poor execution. And there's no margin for error when you play good teams like this. So A&T fans, when you play Kennesaw State, when you play Monmouth, heck, even Charleston Southern, I would even say throw Campbell in there. This is what you're going to see. So that you can't have that nonsense. So y'all got to strip all that out. I guess that can be coached up. But this is what is going to happen when you play the larger teams. An underrated thing that I saw as well was the referees. So A&T didn't get a lot of help from them either. And this is what you're going to see on the road in the Big South. At home, the refs are fair. I don't, I think we had a good game called, but when you go on the road, it's going to be ugly. So what you saw against Furman, this is what you're going to see against the other big schools in the Big South. And to win, all that nonsense got to be cleaned up, man. I mean, this is what we said, right, Hamptonite?
Absolutely. It's just that I think that a lot of because we get a lot of this from the MEAC fans, when they talk about playing, I would say predominantly PWI institutions, is that, HBCU games are mainly emotion. It's how you feel in the moment, especially on the field. It's like, it's all about, once that emotion starts running, then the momentum comes, and, it's a back and forth type of game. Whereas I feel that, when we play, watching, the Aggies take on the Paladins at Furman, I felt that certain things that you see that resonated with me. It was like certain things like, okay, like, so if you have a cornerback who I would say has trouble defending, I would say the 6-yard in or the out route, they definitely figure out ways to exploit it. They go after certain players, and it's not mainly based on emotion. It's more based upon, I would say, I'm not going to say schematics, because it's all about X's and O's on both sides. But I think it's more of like almost like a science there. And I think for A&T, they didn't look like, they basically thought that their speed and power was just enough to overcome, just a program like Furman. And honestly, it's like they have power. They might not have that speed, but they have ways of attacking it. And I just think that this takes some time for A&T for them to figure it out. And, I'm glad that they got it early, because now you see what we're going to be dealing with, more so what they are going to be dealing with on a regular basis. So, but as far as the other Big South programs that we did see, nothing is surprising. It is a little bit surprising to see that Kennesaw gave up 25 to Reinhardt, and so that means that they're going to have some issues. But if you look at Gardner Webb put up 25 on Georgia Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Southern, that's a good program. So this is something that we're definitely nervous because we're definitely going to be playing Gardner Webb. So there are some things that I think that we need to. That I see that, is cause for concern in the Big South. But, who knows? It's still a young season.
Yep, very young, very young. So, yeah, but and also we didn't see much of the running back for A&T as well in that Furman game. So hopefully everything.
No. We saw him. He just
Oh,
didn't do much.
yeah, he didn't do
No,
much.
no, he just didn't do much. Yeah.
Okay,
So, Mr. Icy, Mr. Outfit, looking like Cam Newton at the press conference. You know what I mean?
right.
You gotta, you can't be dressed like that and not produce, son. Go ahead.
Right. Right. So yeah, that's it, man. In the Big South, man. I'm sure A&T will get it together. I'm gonna watch. We're gonna watch them close to see how they progress this year, and tightening things up because they got the talent. So let's move on to the MEAC scoreboard. So Central, they beat Alcorn State in that opener.